Welcome back in. Pro Football Today is live on SportsGrid. It's Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, and Joe Lisi. New England about to get the football back here with about 4 minutes to go in London. We're going to follow this one, and let's stick with this one as we bring in NFL insider Adam Caplan. Cap, the beginnings of this game saw a 10-0 lead for New England, and I was almost assuredly going to be asking you about Doug Peterson's job. They're up right now. It feels like if they did blow this game, we'd be right back to that question, but how much, if at all, does Peterson's job security get impacted by the result of this game?
It keeps, first of all, and I know Doug said he got a vote of confidence a couple weeks ago from Shad Khan, the owner, but it doesn't change the fact. And by the way, wait till you see their schedule coming out of this game here. It is really, really difficult. I believe they play the Packers next. So they have 4 games in a row, which are really, really difficult. The time to really look at, if you're going to talk about a coach's job security, is when they're eliminated from the playoffs, and that's coming up here. Look, when you see the situation, Shad Khan said it in the offseason. Much was expected. The players were not being developed. He wants better development of the players. That's not happening. He felt like this is one of the best rosters they've ever had, which it's hard to disagree. They've just underachieved, Kevin. The way that I've always looked at it, talking to clubs over the years, Kevin, when expectations are not met, that's when job security is on the line. And there's no question with Doug Peterson, it's on the line this season.
Cap, if we're taking a look today, I need to get to this Sunday night football game. We're going to put the quarterbacks on the afterburner right now. But news broke earlier today, Hassan Reddick looking to join the Jets again. How did this come to fruition, and what can we expect out of Hassan Reddick now?
Donnie, it's really because of the change in agencies. Drew Rosenhaus's new agent is very aggressive. Talked to clubs who've dealt with Drew. He's a deal maker. He has not gotten an extension done. They've renegotiated Reddick's $14.5 million. As you know, Donnie, he lost a lot of that due to fines and missed game checks. So what they've done is, while you can't rescind the fines, you can make up for it by paying over the fines, paying over the money. And that contract, as I understand, has not been filed yet, but they have an agreement. So I look forward to talking about that with Farrell and SportsGrid coming this week. But I thought Drew did a good job to figure out a way where both teams are happy, both sides are happy. Reddick, in a sense, is going to get his money back, but he's not going to make the kind of money he thought or should get or wanted to get. That didn't happen. And the Jets get a pass rusher. Don't forget, guys, they lost Jermaine Johnson, their star pass rusher. Very underrated player for the season to do that torn Achilles many weeks ago. And they really need that pass rush. Will McDonald's filling in the first round of Iowa State last season, but he's not Hassan Reddick. And Hassan Reddick should do really well in this scheme where they play that wide 9 front where the ends are outside the tackles. That will fit Hassan Reddick very well. Now, the question is, when is he going to be ready? He's going to report tomorrow. They'll get him in practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday leading up to the next game. But they got to see what kind of shape he's in. Because don't forget, guys, as I'm told, he told the club he'd be there for training camp. He wasn't. He didn't do that. So they have no idea what kind of game shape he's in.
Cap, let's stick in that game. They're going to be going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it won't be Justin Fields. It'll be, in fact, Russell Wilson. Seemed to have shocked many Pittsburgh fans. What did you hear in regards to the situation?
Joe, this shocked a lot of people around the league. This was something like when you text people to get a reaction. Sometimes personal people or coaches around the league, Joe, they're like, okay, I get what they were doing, but that's not the reactions that I got. It's more like, wait a minute, the team is 4-2. Why are you benching this quarterback? It's one thing, Joe, if they had a younger quarterback that they wanted to get in there. They don't. They have Russell Wilson turns 36 in November. And now I did say on SportsGrid before the season started, around August, despite Fields having a good training camp, there was no debate. Justin Fields was not going to be the starter. It was going to be Russell Wilson if healthy. But, Joe, he had that setback with a calf injury, with that calf strain, right before the season started. So this is unheard of. I've covered this business 27 years. It's very rare for a team to bench a winning quarterback. We could debate how good Fields has played. And the last 2 starts were not as good. That's a fact. I get it. But the other thing is, guys, they need help at wide receiver. It's George Pickens and no one else. Roman Wilson, who they thought would start week 1, he had a high ankle sprain, I'm told. That was that injury. The ankle injury was actually a high ankle sprain. Now, unfortunately, now it's a hamstring injury. So, guys, they got to do something receiver. And I know they're on the trade market anyway. Remember, they tried to get Brandon Ayuk. They're looking for a receiver. They're one of many teams right now looking for a wide receiver as we get closer to the trade deadline of November 5th.
So, Cap, let's stick with that idea. Of course, Devontae Adams now goes to the Jets. That's a big name off the board. Amari Cooper goes to Buffalo. That is another one. What else are you hearing around the wide receiver market in terms of teams looking to make a deal to improve their wide receiver room?
Yeah, Kevin, here's the deal. So we just mentioned Pittsburgh, right? The Chiefs, because of the Rashee Rice injury, which is major, obviously he's not going to be back. Hollywood Brown will not play in the regular season. Unfortunately, due to that bad shoulder injury, it's more of the collarbone area. He's got a really bad injury, so they're really in dire straits now. They need help at receiver. They're shopping for one. Now, there's not a lot on this, but remember, we should mention Washington tried to make that trade for Brandon Ayuk around the draft. They didn't get him. Remember, they traded Jahan Dotson, who they didn't want. The front office and coaching staff, the new staffs, inherited Jahan Dotson. They didn't want him. They traded him to Philly inside the division, so they're still looking for receiver help. Now, the kind of receivers you're looking for here, typically you don't see good teams trading for young players who are not developed. They're trying to get to the playoffs. Those three teams I mentioned, there'll be others, by the way, as we'll talk on next Sunday, that'll emerge here. But the kind of players that you're looking at is Deontay Johnson, who's making $7 million this season, right? Well, it's going to be prorated. It's going to be under $3.5 million if he gets traded. So that's a very tradable contract. He's on a final year of his deal. We've talked about DeAndre Hopkins right here every Sunday, it seems like the last 3 weeks on Pro Football Today. Now, he's making $8.3 million. Again, that's going to be prorated the rest of the season. He's got 60,000 in per game roster bonuses. So you're looking at under $4 million the rest of the season, very tradable contract. But there are some people around the league just don't think he runs very well. He's a possession receiver. Kendrick Bourne, by the way, you see that game today. Kendrick Bourne, KG Osborne are veteran receivers. The Patriots aren't going anywhere. We know that. Now, the Browns say they're not shopping Elijah Moore, but I expect them to get calls on Elijah Moore, who's also on the final year of his deal. You notice, Kevin, this list, there are a lot of guys on a one-year deal or on the final year of their deal. And those are the kind of guys who get traded. Again, it's teams looking to make a run at the playoffs. I remember talking to the Eagles at the trade deadline at 2017. They told me they were looking for help on offense. Who did they trade for? Jay Ajayi, who I don't know if they would have won a Super Bowl without him. He had a great run and probably very unheralded for that 2017 team as their run to the Super Bowl.
Adam, if we take a look here at the Dallas Cowboys who aren't playing today, Jerry Jones upset with radio hosts, things not going right down there. In the past, we've always seen the Dallas Cowboys, outside of those years, let's just say with Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells, guys that will run the room and be strong influences. But Jerry Jones likes to have his opinion. Mike McCarthy, let's just say he's out at the end of the season. Some rumors are popping up. It could be Bill Belichick. Did they go that type of route, or are they going to go with what they've been going with? Give me a head coach who might be a little bit younger at that point, but certainly will answer to the front office.
Well, here's the Jerry Jones in his 80s, though, Donnie, and he is, the saying goes, he's not getting any younger. And yeah, when I put my list together on Coast to Coast, I said, here are the guys to take a look at if McCarthy would get fired. And remember, this is right before Jerry Jones surprisingly brought him back for the final year of his deal, which is really kind of unheard of in that kind of market. Belichick will be on their list. There's no question about it. But you got Ben Johnson, who was the number one guy last year. He and Washington could not agree on a deal, as you know, and they went with Dan Quinn, who was their second choice. But yeah, Ben Johnson will be the number one guy. There's no question about it as we go further here. But I think when you look at Jerry Jones, he's got to look at this situation, guys. What did they do at running backs? It's an absolute joke. You got to be serious here. You got to get a better running back. For them to function, they got to run the ball better, and they don't have a qualified starting running back. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, Dak definitely is not getting it done on his own, though he does have one of the highest paid receivers in football, and whatever. Dak needs a running back. I don't know. Good. I like to see him lose, Cap. It's good. It's good to me. It's good to me. It's fun to watch. NFL Insider Adam Caplan. Cap, we appreciate it. It's going to be a busy few weeks coming up.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
All right, great stuff there. As always, just why not feed Zeke? Right?
That's
what James Cook people are saying feed Ramondre. Maybe Ramondre can go to Cap.
Run it out. We've got knock on that.
right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Doc?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
I do a sliding DiVincenzo to the 1. Obviously, Terrence Shannon Jr., that is actually dynamic offensively and defensively. So we'll see how it works. I think it's a little bit of work in progress. Do both teams win? Yes. I don't think at the end of the day, Minnesota could have afforded to keep Cat, Rudy, and Ant for that amount of money.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here, it is Pro Football Today, and joining us is the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chao from SixScore.com, where they have been rolling this season with the sick picks, and now we figured we'd give the people a little extra bonus. Go to SixScore.com/picks and use the promo code SportsGrid, and you can get free picks for a week. And, Doc, you guys have been having a great season so far.
Yeah, we've been 62.5% against the spread here and similar numbers on totals. Look, I got to admit, the numbers clearly said Jacksonville, and early this morning when it was 10-0 against Jacksonville, we got a little nervous, but We're okay now.
Yeah, it looks like it. Again, unless you get 6.5 here, Doc, I may be on New England, so perhaps I'm trying to try and find a way, fumble. You never know. Maybe, again, can it land 6, Doc? Did you guys get 5.5? Let's try and land in between this number here, possibly. Let's get to some of the games that we have on the docket, though, and we'll begin with Washington, Carolina. Because this is a really big number here, Doc, that we see on the board. And a lot of people might be worried to lay this type of points with Washington. When you look at the health for these two teams, what stands out?
Well, look, Washington's the healthier side. Carolina's been injured most of the season. They have D-line issues, can't stop the run. All 4 linebackers are likely out, main linebackers. They got DB issues. They got some issues on offense, although Deontay Johnson is going to play. But Washington has some issues on defense with Jonathan Allen and his pack, et cetera. So the defenses on both sides are more injured. Washington is the healthier side. This could be a lot of points here. So, look, the health says take Washington.
Can I throw one thing at you, Doc? And I know I've done this a few times, but there are – the fantasy community, I'm sure, as well, but, the prop players, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Jonathan Brooks. At some point, are you expecting this guy to be controlling the backfield in Carolina?
Oh, at some point this season. Not quite. This is not going to be his best year coming off the ACL. It's just not. Next year will be a lot better for him. But he's going to get his feet wet a little bit here soon here. And we do props on Six Score. For example, we didn't believe that Ramondre Stevenson was fully healthy. We had, under 47.5 on his prop, and I don't think he's hit 20 yet.
He needed to hit 25, Doc, but that's for another day at this point right now. Let's keep it to Detroit and Minnesota. A huge game in the NFC between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. If we're looking at the matchups here, Minnesota looks to be the healthier team, but I want to start with Aaron Jones. Seemed to be a hip injury, then maybe a hamstring injury. How healthy is he coming into today's football game, Doc?
Well, I think we talked about it a little bit on the show or some of the other SportsGrid shows. It was listed as a hip in London 2 weeks ago. We always said it was a proximal hamstring. And we always said after the bye, he had a good chance of playing. It got converted to hamstring from hip, so it wasn't a surprise to us. And now he's reportedly playing, right? And he's playing. And that's what we factored in all along, that we believe Aaron Jones would play against the defensive line that's banged up because of Aiden Hutchinson, already Marcus Davenport, Kyle Pico. And you saw Detroit go out and sign a couple of guys. So that's a deficiency there on the Lions right now.
Doc, if we do take a look at the Lions here, Super Bowl aspirations, absolutely, but maybe Super Bowl aspirations here for Aiden Hutchinson. Broke his leg. Doc, give us a chance here. Do we have any for him to come back and possibly play if they do make the Super Bowl?
Yes, there's a chance, and my 11-year-old son has a chance to be a Major League Baseball player. He's playing in a fall ball tournament, okay? So there's a chance, but come on. I mean, look, everything that people have put out there, media, I really respect them. But the fact that, oh my gosh, there was no nerve, artery, or ligament damage, there never is with this kind of injury. The fact that he was only 10 minutes from the hospital, he didn't get surgery in 10 minutes, and it wouldn't have mattered. He got surgery in a couple of hours. The hospital could have been 20 minutes away. It was fine. There's all good feel-good stories. Look, we're going to see him standing on the sideline late this season, and people are going to start to wonder. But he's an edge rusher. If he could make it back for the Super Bowl, he's not going to be Aiden Hutchinson.
Doc, let's look at the blue-collar game in Cleveland. Cincinnati on the road against the Browns. Jerome Ford is out with the hamstring, but Nick Chubb comes back. How healthy do you expect him to be today, and is it full go in regards to the knee injury?
This is already a win for Nick Chubb. He's coming back sooner than I thought that he would. So kudos to him. I don't want to speak badly about Nick Chubb, but there's just no way we see Nick Chubb being the Nick Chubb of old this week, this early on. He dislocated his knee. I'll give him all the kudos in the world. If he can be 80% of himself, we will be thrilled for him, and maybe he can work his way back a little bit, but it's just asking too much.
Doc, you have Cincinnati rated much higher than Cleveland, right? 89 versus 81. No main injuries for Cincinnati. What are the other injuries for Cleveland here?
Well, Cleveland's got a lot of injuries, including obviously they traded their wide receiver, but offensive line for Cleveland has been a mess this year, and that accounts for Deshaun Watson's poor play. Ethan Pochik is huge. He might be forced to play because his backup is out already, but he's less than 100%. Wyatt Teller's already out. So O-line issues there for sure for Cleveland, as well as the running back, as you indicated.
Hey, Doc, curious, in your time, how often does the healing process of trading a player to the place he wants to go fix a hamstring? Devontae Adams, all good all of a sudden with the Jets.
It just goes to show you the mental side of injuries. Look, there's a couple things that can fix things, desire to play, like this whole situation with the Raiders and Jets. And I've also talked about the extra week before the Super Bowl having super healing powers, right? Motivation is a very powerful tool. So, yes, we have seen that before, and, it makes sense.
It's, again, I usually on this desk, Doc, we're very concerned about hamstrings.
Yes.
He's the healthiest player in the league as far as we are concerned. But always defer to the guys over at SickScore.com. And again, do not forget, Sick Picks, promo code SportsGrid. Again, SickScore.com/picks, promo code SportsGrid. Free week of picks. Don't miss out on any of the weeks there. They've been hot. Doc, we appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, great stuff there from the Pro Football Doc. Sell Me Something is next. You can tell there's winners and losers in the air.
right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take the Williams.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
I do a sliding DiVincenzo to the one. Obviously, Terrence Cheney Jr., that is actually dynamic offensively and defensively. So we'll see how it works. I think it's a little bit of a work in progress. Do both teams win? Yes. I don't think at the end of the day, Minnesota could have afforded to keep Cat, Rudy, and Ant for that amount of money.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, folks, let's make it happen. It's Sell Me Something time. Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, Joe Lisi. How we feel today, fellas? We feel good?
Yeah, feel real
Absolutely. Got a
Feel
winner
good.
last week on Sell Me Something.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
So we got to fade this one then, right?
Yep.
2 in a row, that's no good. You got to boycott
today.
that.
We altered today, boys.
I don't want to bat lead off? You seem hot on your number.
I won last week, so I don't think I want to bet legal. Like, I want to keep the same thing because I don't think I won in like 2 years on my Sell Me Something. Now I'm feeling like amazing.
All right, so go ahead, Lisi. Then, as always, our leadoff hitter.
So I'm hot on this game in MetLife, right? So everybody's looking at the Eagles.
It's going Calcaterra.
I'm looking at the Giants side. Theo Johnson. He's been through 40 receiving yards only once. Happened a couple of weeks ago. 5 for 48 against the Seahawks. 40 plus today, plus 750.
That's pretty impressive.
Come on down.
Now, is it 750 or 710? Like, which one is it?
When I thought it was 750, but
so they changed it on you?
I don't know.
Sharp?
Maybe could be.
Sharp.
I looked at it very late in the morning, very late when I do my research. You don't like it?
No, it only makes me think of. Did we talk about this already?
Go ahead.
So I had the Tyrone Tracy 50-plus receiving yard alt, right? And then Eric Gray had 50 receiving yards. Did you see Tyrone Tracy the next week had 50 receiving yards against Cincinnati? No, but this week,
I see
Tracy that does it the next week. Like,
yeah.
So do you not like that? No, do you like this 7?
Brilliance.
Truly, it seems like it has absolutely no chance to win. With Malik...
It is a crazy number.
With Malik Neighbors back, it's hard to imagine.
Isn't that the sell me something?
So
an unlikable bet that I'm selling you on?
Right. So like the real point that would be for you to sell me.
So you want me to give your point how you would sell it?
I just want you to sell me on it. So what I heard from you is he's done it once this season.
Well, I think here I'll give you the full breakdown. Okay, they're going to be trailing, I believe, in the game.
Yep.
And I think they have to open it up. The fans already hate the Giants at home. They're 0-3. Every game has been an under, and I think Philly's going to push tempo. So again, if you take away Neighbors to some capacity and limit Wan'Dale Robinson, underneath throws are going to be there for Theo Johnson. So there's the 40-plus breakdown, football-wise.
There you go, Theo.
All right, it's all right. All right,
I'll slash it. You want 10-1? I'll give.
What was that, 50 yards?
It was 7-1. I'll give you 10-1. Come on down. Remember, don't even go to your book. Come to my book. Remember
you still want it?
You take crypto in your book?
Possibly.
All right.
We're still waiting for the regulator.
Donnie, what do you got for the people today?
Look, I'm going to sell something on this. A football player that has not played good football. But hear me out on this. Going up against a defense that has been notoriously like a sieve this year, that's the Cincinnati Bengals. How about this? Deshaun Watson over 2 touchdown passes. So he throws 2 today, it's plus 330. That's an unbelievable price. Usually, I'm taking guys over 1.5, like minus 160, and it's plus 330 today. Now, I won't just tell you, I hate Deshaun Watson. That's why I'm taking the plus 330 on 2 touchdowns. Do you know what most worried me about this game, guys? Was the fact that they're going to play a bad defense. But Jameis Winston lurking in the background, where he could come in at any minute if it just goes off the rails. Do you know what happened today, guys? Jameis Winston, inactive. So now you know you are getting a complete game for Deshaun Watson, and if they are getting blown out, which is a chance they can, how about the junk touchdowns? 330 on 2 touchdowns. Crazy.
It's crazy. He's dead to me, so I can't.
I like the look.
I had the look
plus 330 is a monster one.
Yeah.
But that's for touchdowns.
Yeah.
What did you want it for? Rushing touchdown?
No, yards. Get the yards. You should have went for 300 yards.
Oh.
I got a touchdown one for you.
They had field goals last week. That's why he's dead to me. I can't. It cost me the 200 last week. In the
so on my sell me something, you're trying to put in your yards bet that didn't win last week on me.
I can't do the touchdowns. You sold me. I might go back in with the yards, though.
Okay. I'm sorry. No, I love you. He didn't sell you on anything. All you just did was say, you reminded me of what I bet last week, and in Lisi fashion, I'm betting it again.
Yeah. That's what you just said with my bet.
He said I should have went to passing yards and not my touchdown because that's what he did last week.
We have people listening. They heard it. They heard you say that.
It sounds like a short sale.
I'll try and give people what I think is a pretty tangy option.
Tangy.
Donnie.
Yes.
In our home.
Yeah.
Specials market.
Yes.
4 o'clock, 4:25.
Yes.
Each team to score 1 rushing touchdown in that window. 12-1. 6 games. Or 3 games, 6 teams.
Yeah, let me see.
Rams, Raiders, Commanders, Panthers, Niners, Chiefs. Where do I lose? Try and tell me.
Vegas.
Vegas doesn't run one in.
You just like Vegas. Here's what you need: O'Connell quarterback sneak. Boom.
He probably does it too.
What a service!
It's possible.
What do you think, Lisa?
He's already checked out. He's already checked out.
No idea.
He's mad at you.
He's literally like, get me to the break. I got to put the Watson yards in. I got to put the Watson yards in. Enough of this talking commercial.
Yep.
Whip around next.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take the room.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
I do a sliding DiVincenzo to the 1. Obviously, Terrence Shannon Jr., that is actually dynamic offensively and defensively. So we'll see how it works. I think it's a little bit of work in progress. Do both teams win? Yes. I don't think at the end of the day, Minnesota could have afforded to keep Cat, Rudy, and Ant with that amount of money.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I'm inviting my birthday.
Same look.
All right, we're back right here. It's the whip around time.
Love it.
I'm also uninviting people to my birthday bash.
Oh.
I don't like some things that were being said. And again, we can flip it around. maybe I like some of the breakdowns that are around the corner.
True.
We're starting with a game that this table's hot on. I'm involved. Lisi's involved. And Donnie seems to be keying as well.
Yeah.
We begin in Buffalo with the Bills laying 9 against Mason Rudolph and the Tennessee Titans. Total in this one's 41.5. Lisi, what do you like?
I like Buffalo for the side perspective. They get the win on Monday night. I understand it potentially, is a veteran quarterback in Mason Rudolph, but I think the defense steps up. I think they dominate this game. Trying to get to the number. I know Donnie likes it. I'll root it in. I'm not touching it in any capacity. What I am touching is Calvin Ridley. I altered him up to 60-plus. You mentioned 8 targets, no receptions last week. I think at least with the veteran under center, he can eat in this matchup.
Nice weather in Buffalo today, which is always key once you get into October. And quite frankly, nice weather across the board. But if we're just focusing on this game, there's too many weapons on both sides. I understand the Buffalo Bills should be able to win this game by double digits. Maybe the Titans play them close. But for me, this game should go over. Josh Allen, everybody healthy on offense, all 3 running backs, 2 tight ends, all 3 wide receivers, and now you add in Amari Cooper. But let's also remember something, Joe. You take a look at the quarterback on the opposite side, which is not going to be Will Levis, which is a good thing. Mason Rudolph, he has had some success back when he was at Pittsburgh. And it's not as if he's stepping into a team like the New England Patriots, like there's nothing out there. There are 3 quality wide receivers. There's a good running back in Pollard here. Why can't they get into the teens today? This game should go over for me.
All right, looking for some juice there. I'm on James Cook, 60-plus rush yards in his career. When he has at least 14 carries, 10-2 of 60 or more yards in those games. His attempts prop today between 14.5 and 15.5. Look for James Cook to get through today against Tennessee. Packers-Texans, one of the best on the board. Tough one for me to really locate a favorite bet. I would lean under. It's been a dropping total, though, throughout the morning, Joe.
Yeah, it is. I like Green Bay. We're seeing 3s now in the market here, multiple books. So I like Green Bay. I think it's the right side. They're more consistent. I think they can run the
Packers this game. I do lean towards the over 47.5.
Okay.
These 2 teams can really get after it with great quarterbacks. I could never lean under. And also, good weather in Green Bay in late October. That helps.
One game that I'm playing under in is Colts-Dolphins at 43.5. It's interesting because when I looked at this game, I was hoping to bet over, but I just thought the total might be like a touchdown less. Huntley could look a little bit better with the bye week.
Yeah,
but again, it's 43.5, Joe, here. Richardson's back. That's great. I like Richardson. But we know that the Flacco versus him questions are out there. I played under at 43.5.
It's a pretty good look because Achan's back in that offense. They might want to run the football to at least take the pressure off of Tyler Huntley. This is an upset special for me. Dolphins did get the victory a couple weeks ago over New England, 15-10. They've had an extra week of preparation. Hopefully Mike McDaniel can get his troops ready. I mean, you look at Tyreek Hill, 57.5 for a number. I like him to go through that. Potentially at pay dirt, plus 180, I think is his number. But I like Miami in the game, guys. I'm just not sold on the defense of Indianapolis, and I'm not sold on Anthony Richardson coming back. Let's not forget, Indy had 2 wins with Joe Flacco. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, how far down the totem pole did we get where we're now crediting teams for beating the New England Patriots? They are abysmal. Jacksonville, one of the worst teams in the NFL, absolutely shattered them earlier today. Shane Steichen at home. Anthony Richardson, a quarterback, will be able to make enough plays with his feet to move that football downfield. I'm going to lay the 3 points in this game.
All right, looking to lay it here with the Colts. How about the Falcons and the Seahawks? What's happening? I'm saying the words under too much. I'm going to get beat around a little bit today. That's okay. We'll roll with the punches here. Total 51.5 and 52 is where I played it under the number. I think it's just a chance to sell high. I know they play with pace. Both of these teams, to me, would be better off running the ball a little bit more here. I am going to sell high on Cousins and Smith with the highest total on the board, Joe.
Yeah, you got me buying into the under 51.5, 52. I do like both rushing attacks. Bijan with a 60.5 number got to 80+ against Carolina in the second half of that matchup. Look for them to utilize the run again in this game to keep Geno Smith on the sidelines. And for Seattle, we talked about it, Donnie. You know, your defense is getting torched. The way you neutralize that is run the football with Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker's number is 66.5. I think he could be a 100-yard rusher today. I'm not sold on Atlanta, though. Give me the 3 points with Seattle. I think they could potentially win this game, even though they're on the road.
I'm going to go opposite that. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons at -3. Not because I love the Falcons, but show me the Seattle Seahawks schedule and say, hey, rookie quarterback or bad quarterback shows up. We're fantastic. Oh, viable quarterback? We just can't play football anymore. So give me the Atlanta Falcons in this game. And also, Algier and Bijan on the ground should be able to control the tempo here, which opens up, Joe, that passing game for me. I'll lay the 3 points with the Falcons.
All right, Falcons all of a sudden rounding into form, looking like that team that was positioned to win a division and carry the workload there in the NFC South. Let's go, though, to the NFC North with nothing but teams that are 4-2 or better. And these teams are better. 4-1 Detroit, 5-0 Minnesota, 1.5-point line here, Lisi, 50.5 total.
I think Detroit has the better quarterback, and that's not to take away from Sam Darnold, but I talked about it. Jared Goff's on fire. 300 yards last week, 3 touchdowns. Jamison Williams involved, Laporta involved with the big flea flicker catch. I think he does build on that. Look for multiple receptions, I believe. Sam Laporta, 5+, I think is like 160 in regards to this matchup. But I like Detroit on the road. I think they're the more complete team, even though it's back-to-back road games. Just not sold, Donnie, on Sam Darnold. Second half of the New York Jets did not look good. And what are you going to get out of Aaron Jones? I'm just not sold. Ty Chandler could do what he does. Give me Detroit to strike the upset.
Aaron Glenn, we'll see what he has today going up against that Minnesota offense. But if you're looking from coordinators to defensive coordinators, offense and defensive, this is as good as it gets on both sides. A true chess match. And I love the Lions here. But granted, you have a team that's coming off a bye here at home, rested and ready, and basically just has to win the football game to cover. That is something to buy into. But I'm just going to roll with that momentum on the Detroit Lions. Let's see how they handle the loss of Aiden Hutchinson in this game and some of the blitzes that they're going to have to dial up to get some pressure on Sam Darnold.
Take a look at the Jared Goff interception prop. 2 straight games without a pick. Minnesota has picked off every opposing quarterback that they have faced so far, and they've picked off 4 out of the 5 multiple times in the game. But my best bet will be Amon-Ra St. Brown, bounce-back style, over the 74.5. Minnesota's defense has been great, but it has struggled against the best in football, and Amon-Ra still fits that description. Bengals-Browns. I'm all Cleveland up here. What am I doing? I love the Browns in this game, man. Catching 5.5. I think they're live in this game to stun Cincinnati. I do. They've always been able to hang with Joe Burrow. I think Amari Cooper out is fine because Nick Chubb is in. He's the best player on this football team. Offensively, Myles Garrett's obviously a megastar.
I think they run the football, try to keep Joe Burrow on the sidelines. Back-to-back road games for Cincinnati. It's a very close proximity, but I'll take a shot with Cleveland as well. I'm not as sold as you, Kev, winning the game outright, but I think they're within the 5.5-point number. We're even 42.5 in the market. I'll say under because I think the only way Cleveland can win is if they run the football.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski is a pretty smart guy, and if you do have Nick Chubb and he's somewhat competent, the only question is how many times can you actually give him the football here in the first game back? Does that cause fumbling issues? Is he not used to, getting hit that many times? And also, do you want to wear him out this early in the season knowing that over the next couple weeks, you're probably still going to need the guy to run the football? I can't buy into the Cleveland Browns, but I think I can buy into the 42.5. I don't think you need that many points to beat Cleveland today.
You secretly love the Browns. You've got Watson throwing too.
They score 14.
Backdoor
14.
All right, let's move over to the 4 o'clock window, as well as Eagles-Giants right here. It's Pro Football Today on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long. What
in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take the room.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
I do sliding DiVincenzo to the one. Obviously, Terrence Shannon Jr., that is actually dynamic offensively and defensively. So we'll see how it works. I think it's a little bit of a work in progress. Do both teams win? Yes. I don't think at the end of the day, Minnesota could have afforded to keep Cat, Rudy, and Ant for that amount of money.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in. Pro Football Today is live on SportsGrid. We go to Eagles-Giants here.
Wow.
It is a field goal number for Philly. 42.5 is your total. I am on the Birds, laying the 3. First time this season I get to the window on the Eagles. This is a good spot. We are seeing the Giants being given too much respect for hanging around with a few teams here. Defensive line is banged up. Eagles motivated. They were better than people realized against the Browns last week. They roll here against the Giants.
I lean Eagles. I'm not betting the side. I'm betting the total. I think it's high scoring, 41.5. Giants have lost 3 straight home games. Every game trended to the under. But this is a get-right spot for Jalen Hurts. 213.5, 214. I think he breaks through that. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith back in that offense now with a game under their belt. Give me Philadelphia to roll, but I love the over, Donnie.
The way to beat the Philadelphia Eagles last year was just bring the house repeatedly because they couldn't block it. The Giants will probably change or do that same things this year, even with a new defensive coordinator trying to hit those angles. 2 left tackles out on both teams here. Whoever's going to be able to abuse that left tackle probably going to win this football game. The Eagles have so much more talent than the New York Giants. Yeah, but I've seen this play out before. They've had a lot of talent than more teams right now. It hasn't worked out in their favor. Some people are calling it the Grand Calcaterra game. I won't say who, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles do win this game, but I think it's going to be close.
Go Birds, baby. Go Birds there, DRS. Come on, now. I got a brand new starter jacket. It's looking crispy. Yeah. Shout out to Sam. Now let's talk here now with a little Rams-Raiders. I'm on the Raiders +7, and I don't lie. Yeah, I do. I love Aiden O'Connell. They're live in this game, man. AOC. O'Connell getting respect from me here, Lisi.
Yeah, some calling him the human turnover machine. We'll see. 7.5 now in the market. Again, the fact that L.A. has their backs against the wall trying to get back, I believe, into the wild card race, 1-4, 0-3 at home. I think they step up here. I think this is a get-right spot, 7.5. I think they throw it, they run it. I do think they could get over the 43.5, but I think they're the more complete team. Have no confidence in Aiden O'Connell on the road.
Yeah, if I'm looking at this game, obviously the Rams are going to win it for me. Kyron Williams should be the key player in this game, going up and down the field. A lot of questions at wide receiver on both sides who can actually step up. But the one thing we do know, Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than AOC. That should be enough to get it done, but I got to tell you this. I'm not laying 7 or 7.5 in this game. I'm going to be a complete stay away here.
Aiden O'Connell +120. Not to throw an interception, Lisi.
No.
Might be on my
Don't waste your
multiple.
money. Don't waste your money.
You want it? I'll send it to you. And then you can get it back to me when Georgia plays Florida.
All right.
Raiders! Let's go to Panthers-Commanders here. Donnie, you absolutely nailed it. Commanders-Panthers is up to 10.
Yeah.
All it took was a few people waking up, little morning coffee. Saw, hey, Washington's playing Carolina.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer special here, DRS. What do you think about the double-digit number?
I mean, am I willing to lay 10 with the Commanders? Probably not. But at the same time, it's like, you want to take 10 with Carolina? No way. This team is really going to struggle, particularly on defense. And it's the wrong team to struggle with on defense because Washington's been red hot, Joe, as an absolute pistol on offense. So if I'm saying to myself, Donnie, what's the best play you want this? Over 51.5, I think it could get there. Do I want to lay the 10? Not necessarily. That team total sitting around 31 for Washington. They'll be around that number. That's the number I would play on the Commanders today.
Yeah, we'll see. The one concern, and I talked about it earlier, is they're an emotional letdown after going toe-to-toe with the Baltimore Ravens, where they were in striking distance and lost by a touchdown. Coming back home, it's the Carolina Panthers. Do they walk through the motions? I'm not suggesting they lose this game, but it just might be ugly, right? More like that Giant game that we saw back 4 weeks ago, where it's a very close game and they steal it in the end. Veteran quarterback going on the road. I'll take a shot with Andy Dalton plus the 9.5, 10 in that area. I do feel, though, the under is the play.
Interesting.
Whoa. Wow.
Interesting.
Does he believe it, though?
Fading Jaden Daniels.
Fading Jaden. Yes,
when did
fading
you turn on Jaden Daniels?
What?
When did you turn on him?
I turned on him, last week, I guess.
Caleb Williams.
Is it Nussmeier took over?
O-R-O-Y ticket.
Nussmeier took over his heart? Is that what it is?
What?
What happened?
Well, I'm just saying Caleb Williams put up 36 against that team. So bar set. That's all I'm saying.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Well, you don't like Washington to even score much in this game.
I think they grind out of it.
Give me a final score. I love your final scores.
23-10. 23.
Yeah, there was. Yes, there was.
I know.
Yep, there was.
That's what he wanted.
13-point win.
That's it. 13-point.
Niners Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. It's 1.5. 47 and a hook for a total in this game. I'm on MV Purdy. Over. 1.5 passing touchdowns here, Lisi. What are you on?
I'm on the Chiefs. They're on the road. They're catching points. I'll take Pat Mahomes in that situation any time of the week. A lot of pressure, I think, on Brock Purdy and San Fran to win the game, to prove that they were deserving of the Super Bowl. 47.5, I think we blow through this number. Pat Mahomes coming over and off a 331-yard passing performance, even though he didn't hit pay dirt. I think they step up. I think they throw it to open up the run. Give me Kansas City outright.
I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers. -1. Look, we're just picking who's going to win this game with that spread. I think San Francisco is the better team overall. Their season, Joe, hasn't turned out the way it's supposed to just yet. This is a chance to finally plant that flag and say, we think we are the best team in the NFC. We're going to prove it by beating the best record in the AFC. But my goodness, let me tell you something. If Kansas City rolls into this game and beats San Francisco, I'm just going to roll back of my footage in January, February, March, season and say, Patrick Mahomes is there. They're the best. Nothing else matters. And if you're the ownership group of Kansas City, cut everybody on your roster. Go as cheap as you can. As long as you have Mahomes, you'll beat anybody. It doesn't matter who plays.
Can I ask you a question? If they win this ball game by double digits, 10, does that change the perception of Pat Mahomes and the
he throws one touchdown. They win by double digits.
Just
one touchdown.
To be clear, the perception that you're referring to is mine or everyone else's?
No, yours.
Yeah. Me? If he plays great.
42.
Yeah, if he throws for 220, one touchdown, and they win by 10.
I truly will probably go. I will get pushed so far over the edge, I will start to call him terrible. I'll be honest with you.
6-0.
No, that's what's going to happen.
Gosh,
7 touchdowns,
who's
7 picks,
Get
6
him in there.
wins.
Carson
I'm going to start.
Wentz.
If he has wins, touchdowns, picks, all sitting there, 666, you know the devil's at work here.
Yeah.
MV Purdy, it's time to just light this team up. Oh, I hope he lights it.
400.
Listen. Here, let me shoot this out there. If the Niners win, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we get a new MVP favorite at the end of this week? Just leave it like that.
Yes, I would say yes.
I don't know.
I would say yes.
It's going to be an interesting one.
McDay?
Maybe Devontae Adams. We'll talk Sunday Night Football. Bets anytime touchdown scorers next.
right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take. I think this line is asking you once again to take the Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
I do a sliding DiVincenzo to the one. Obviously, Terrence Cheney Jr., that is actually dynamic offensively and defensively. So we'll see how it works. I think it's a little bit of a work in progress. Do both teams win? Yes. I don't think at the end of the day, Minnesota could have afforded to keep Cat, Rudy, and Ant for that amount of money.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's get ready, man. 1 o'clock is knocking on the door.
Really
Kevin
is.
Walsh, Donnie Rightside, Joe Lisi. Sunday Night Football is where we begin. The circus is in town. Jets, Steelers, Lisi. How do you like to bet this game?
I'm going to take the under 38.5 in the matchup. I think the Steelers will still run it. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to score on that defense and reluctantly take Pittsburgh out right here.
I'm going to tell look, I don't like that pick by you right there. It's -1.5 Jets. We're taking them. Better offense here. They're going to have the better defense on the field today. Aaron Rodgers is going to move the football, but I don't know if I can give Russ, man. He just might have the heart of a lion. Heart
Truly,
of a lion right here.
This is where you two are the best.
Why?
Hate Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Steelers. Love Russell Wilson. Best move.
Wait a second.
Yes.
If there's one person I hate more, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
No. And by the way, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the break.
And it's not for his play.
Ironically, if you guys were to kind of just show, right, a great bit of unbiased from the both of you. Feet in the mud. Russ is here. I got to bet Pittsburgh.
No.
Feet in the mud. They bench Fields. I got to bet the Jets. Giving it how you see it. For me, I lean Jets. Lean over. I'm going to get to the over. I'm telling you this right now. This is going to be one of those games I'm going to be involved with. I like Garrett Wilson. Rodgers 1.5 passing touchdowns. Russell Wilson throw a pick. There's going to be some juice in this football game out there. Believe you
I'm
me.
Stay up for this one.
But this is the one. No shot. Sorry, you know what? Sorry, can't make it, brother. All you solo style. Let's get to our best bets here. Listen, man, I've been messing around a little too much. If I put aside in the best bet category, it's not coming through. All right, I gotta fix it. So let me just get this out of the way. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 74.5 receiving yards is the best bet. It's one of the best of the season, quite frankly.
Wow.
We have a total of 50.5. Shootout expected. The Vikings this season have allowed 4 or 5 opposing number one wide receivers through this total, and the only who went under was Malik Neighbors in his debut game, and he landed 66. Those 5 number one wideouts average 100 yards per game, and Amon-Ra is in a double bounce back spot with 2 straight games failing to cross 75. He barely had 50 in the prior 2 games. Amon-Ra steps up in a massive game for the Detroit Lions.
Has a hot quarterback, threw for 300 last week with 3 touchdowns. Jared Goff, I think, could light up that defense for the Vikings. We saw Aaron Rodgers move it as well in the second half, so I like the look. I'm going to go with MetLife. We talked about it all morning. You're getting actually an extra pointed discount. I liked it at 42.5, altered it as high as 49.5. It's down to 41.5. I don't care. I know the Giants are 0-3 at home, 3 straight unders, and last week Philadelphia played very close, 20-16. They throw the kitchen sink at the New York Giants defense. That'll open up things, and I think Daniel Jones can move the football as well through the air. So give me up, and away 49.5, I think we blow through it.
If the Eagles
41-10 Philly.
If the Eagles get 7 points in the first quarter, you are on track because the Eagles don't get any points in the first quarter. Play from ahead, force Daniel Jones to pass the football. Only good things can happen, which means turnovers and possible touchdown passes, so I can see it going that way. For me, we're headed to Buffalo, the opposite side of the state here. The reason why I like this game at 41 is because of Josh Allen. He's healthy. He's been dominant. 3 good running backs, 2 good tight ends, 3 good wide receivers. Now Amari Cooper's in the fold. And also, no Will Levis to throw a stupid interception when you're driving to try to just get some points here. Mason Rudolph, give me 200 yards passing. This game should cruise over. And quite frankly, if I call it, Buffalo might get it themselves today. How about that?
DRS.
Wouldn't mind that, though.
Yes.
I got the over 39.5 highest point scored on today's slate. Maybe both of those games have teams in the 40s. Now we get to the touchdown scores. Again, the secret actual best bets on these shows. These have been consistent cash here. Talk to me, Lisi.
I like Sam Laporta. He scored the touchdown on the flea flicker, 1 touchdown, 52 yards. I think he gets multiple opportunities, especially in red zone, plus 220 for Sam Laporta.
Yeah, how about no red zone opportunities for Laporta because they all go to David Montgomery and smash a minus 125 touchdown prop in the door. Wow. Joe, let me get mine, then I'll root for you to get yours. How about that?
By the way, I'm just saying I've seen this a lot of times from Donnie. He will get his first.
Yes, he will.
Just know that.
Yes.
Funny is, I could have really gone with Amon Ra here, and that'd have been funny if we just had the trio.
A Royal Rumble.
For me, I've got one of the best running backs in football against a defense that keeps giving up touchdowns to lead backs in one of the best narrative spots of the season. That's not Saquon Barkley. That's Nick Chubb at plus 150. One little additional thing, Donnie, that pushed me here was your information on Jerome Ford. Whenever they're getting blown out, they still put him in there. They let him get some yardage. They let him get some touchdowns. I'm thinking that Nick Chubb, even if this is a blowout, and I'm wrong, and they're getting rolled, they make sure he gets in the end zone. Awesome to see him back on the field today. Joe Lisi, Donnie Rightside, Kevin Walsh, appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll do it again tomorrow night for another doubleheader. Good luck here on Sunday.
Guardians, despite being at home in the land, were a home underdog against Tarek Skubal. Enter Lane Thomas, maybe one of the under-the-radar trade deadline acquisitions being dealt from the Nationals. He was huge in the ALDS.
A heavy favorite for the New York Yankees in the series. You're going to look to their best 2 ball players to be those MVPs. That's Juan Soto and it's Aaron Judge.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.